Alabama survives a scare from South Carolina. It's college football smothered and covered.
You are Locked On College Football, smothered and covered, with your host, Barrett Sallee. Your one-stop shop for everything college football. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hey, welcome in a Lake Lenoir edition of College Football Smothered and Covered Instant Reaction Show. My name's Barrett Sallee. Really appreciate you checking out the show. Thank you for making this your first listen. Today we're brought to you by FanDuel. Place one $5 bet. Your first $5 bet, you will get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's right. Your first $5 bet gets you to $100 in bonus bets guaranteed. Go to FanDuel.com. That's FanDuel.com. Okay. Listen, Alabama, it is time to worry. Alabama fans, it is time to worry about Kalen DeBoer. Yeah, you won the game 27-25. I get it. You know, it's fine. But you play like this a week after losing to Vanderbilt and after giving up an enormous lead in what could have been one of the most embarrassing comeback losses in program history against Georgia. You can't come out this flat against South Carolina when you're trying to redeem yourself from one of the most embarrassing losses in program history. I joked about Kalen DeBoer last week. I called him Kalen DeBoer. Did this win change your mind? Did this win prove that I'm wrong? No, not at all. To me, this shows that Kalen DeBoer is not ready for prime time, that he's not ready to handle what being the coach at Alabama means, the responsibilities that go along with it. This team is incredibly undisciplined. They lack fire. And they look like they simply don't care, especially along the offensive line. South Carolina had 9 tackles for loss. 9 times. 9 times. Ferris Bueller reference. Did Alabama get stopped behind the line of scrimmage? That's not okay. 7 penalties for 66 yards. That's not okay. 3.7 yards per rush. That's not okay. You're Alabama. You are supposed to run the dang ball. You are supposed to be the most physical team, not just on that field, but damn near any field. You are supposed to be the big, bad monster, especially coming off one of the most embarrassing losses in program history. You don't look like a monster. You don't look like a monster at all. Except maybe if you're counting those nice monsters from Monster Inc. Dads understand. I'd like to say that this is a work in progress and DeBoer deserves more time. Does he? Does he deserve more time? I'm not sure at this point in terms of patience or referendums. Of course, he's going to be around for a long time as the head coach at Alabama, at least this season. But the early returns are not good. Aside from 4 good quarters at Camp Randall and 2 good quarters against Georgia that you almost let slip away, is there anything to get too excited about? Not really. To me, not really at all. We'll take a break. More on this game coming up on the other side. It's College Football Smothered and Covered. Of course, we are powered by Locked On. Today's show brought to you by Z-Biotics. It's a pre-alcohol probiotic drink. It's the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink alcohol, it gets converted into toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct not dehydration, that's the blame for your rough day the next day. Pre-alcohol provides an enzyme to break this byproduct down. Just remember to make Z-Biotics your first drink of the night. Drink responsibly, and you'll feel your best tomorrow. Go to zbiotics.com/lockedoncollege. That's zbiotics.com/lockedoncollege to learn more and get 15% off your first order when you use the promo code LockedOnCollege at checkout. Z-Biotics is backed with 100% money-back guarantee, so if you're unsatisfied for any reason whatsoever, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember to head to zbiotics.com/lockedoncollege, zbiotics.com/lockedoncollege. Use that promo code LockedOnCollege at checkout for 15% off. We're also brought to you by FanDuel. NFL fans, college football fans, FanDuel has a great deal for you. Place a $5 bet, and you will get $200 guaranteed in bonus bets. That's right. Your first $5 bet gets you $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. And you can do it all from the page right there. They have play-by-play stats, all you need to know if you want to place a live bet right on the same page in which you place your bets. FanDuel.com, FanDuel.com. Okay, let's talk about specific plays in this game or common themes that went along with this game. First of all, South Carolina's defensive front is ferocious. And Shane Beamer said this at halftime, said the world is counting them out, and expected this to be a butt whipping, but in reality, they got a pretty darn good football team that played a bad game last week. And he's right. He's right. That South Carolina defensive front is no joke. It's absolutely no joke. And yes, Alabama's offensive line was dreadful today. It's been dreadful for a lot of the season, but that doesn't take away with how good Stewart is, how good the entire the rotation that they've created in Columbia, how SEC ready it is. And I talked to Shane Beamer. He was on this show twice actually, at media days and also back in April or May or whenever it was. And he basically said, hey, look, we're close. We're close defensively. Injuries killed us the last couple of years. And like when you have Stewart and Kennard and then you can rotate around them, it's legit. It's a legit defensive front. So from that perspective, yeah, you have to give them a little bit of credit because this is a pretty good football team. I don't think people realize South Carolina or even guessed that South Carolina would be what it is this year. But Shane deserves a ton of credit for that. He's, of course, a friend of the show, and he's welcome to come back on anytime. And Lenoir Sellers and Rocket Sanders, those two in the backfield are just filthy. I know a lot will be made of Lenoir Sellers missing that 2-point conversion, missing a wide open wide receiver, and that's going to haunt him for a long time. But you combine him with Rocket Sanders in that backfield, that's a 1-2 punch that a lot of defenses are going to struggle with and have struggled with. Rocket Sanders, man, Arkansas, I don't know what you did to run that dude off or what South Carolina paid him to come to Columbia, but it wasn't enough because if you didn't know the name, now you do. And that's something that, we can't sit here and gloss over, Alabama struggling because kind of like last week in the Alabama-Vandy game, South Carolina looked like the better team. I mean, they lost 3 fumbles. Now, I know you have to take care of the football, but South Carolina looked like the better team essentially from mid first quarter on. So Shane deserves a ton of credit for that. And I haven't seen the post-game press conference, but I guarantee you he's going to tout his team, tout his players, and it's going to be one of those can't miss 10 minutes of post-game coverage that I'm sure we will have. Chris Marler will have you covered over on the Locked On Gamecocks podcast. But yeah, they deserve a ton of credit. It's not just Alabama. We need to talk about South Carolina because they earned that one. At least earned the discussion of being in that game, earned the praise that they should get. It wasn't all about Alabama. It was about South Carolina too. We'll take a break. We will wrap up the show coming up on the other side. It's College Football Smothered and Covered. And of course, we are powered by Locked On. Today's show brought to you by Robinhood Gold. You don't need a silver spoon to eat up the financial favors of the 1%. Robinhood Gold allows others to get the rates and perks usually reserved for the high society. Now, the resourceful individual with Robinhood Gold can earn the very liberal rate of 4.5% APY on uninvested cash, receive unlimited 1% deposit bonuses, and be rewarded with the handsome 3% retirement boost with an IRA account. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of a high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits are now available for only $5 a month. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at robinhood.com/gold, robinhood.com/gold. Terms apply for product specific disclosures. Visit robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risks. Rates may change. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold, LLC. That will do it for this edition of the Lake Instant Reaction of college football smothered and covered, reacting to the Alabama-South Carolina game. And what a game it was. A reminder, you look right below. You can be a college football smothered and covered insider from our subtext. You can text me personally. I will text you back. You can tell me how much you hate me. You can tell me how much you love me. Don't really care, but you can do that in the subtext. Just sign up right below. Use promo code college. You'll get your first month for free. For your second listen, go check out Spencer McLaughlin, college football, Locked on College Football, I should say. He does a great job over there. We'll be back to wrap up the night a little bit later on. Until then, have a great afternoon. We will talk to you this evening.